your work in genetics really set you on a path to uncover family secrets and, shall we say, family genetic secrets at that. So, The Dressmaker's Mirror, Sudden Death, Genetics, and a Jewish Family Secret. We'll have that on the episode page at geneticsforhealthcare.com and wherever you're listening there. You can find it on Amazon, of course. But tell us what inspires you to write this book.
Well, there were two things going on in my life at the time, three really, at the time I wrote it. One happened to everybody. It was pandemic. So we were stuck at home. Two, I was actually running a book club on Zoom, and we wanted a book that was not heavy, that would be fun because we were terrified we were all going to die from COVID. And I picked the book Mrs. Polyfax. And I don't know if you've read that book. It's a book about an old lady. She was younger than me at the time, but most people would consider her an old lady who had to find something to do, and she becomes a CIA spy. So my question to the other readers was, what is it you haven't yet done that you would like to do? And what I hadn't done was write a memoir. So one thing was the challenge I gave myself to write a memoir during those years when we were home. And the second thing I was doing was, in the response to the sudden death of my niece, I was contacting all my relatives, and I was learning about human genetics, which was a burgeoning field at the time. It started, with the yeast genetics, but then it spread out to human genetics. And I was trying to protect my family from sudden death. And then eventually I married these two in a single book. So the story about my niece was that this beautiful young woman, 36, 6 months pregnant with her first child. That's the picture, is her out to dinner with her husband the night before her sudden death. And then the next day they just, went out in the neighborhood, stopped in a restaurant for a little snack. And as she was leaving, they were still sitting there, they gave them a card to check off, how good it was. And she said, oh, this place was a 10. And then she slumped over. And, her husband said to her, Karen, are you joking? But he already knew that she wasn't. She slipped down to the floor. The ambulance was there in minutes, literally. They was downtown Brooklyn. But they were unable to start her heart. They delivered the baby with cesarean section, but he was too young, not developed. He died within a few minutes. And they did an autopsy, and they found nothing wrong. But the New York coroner was smart enough to do two things. One, she preserved Karen's tissue without formaldehyde so that years later we could do genetic studies. The DNA was not destroyed. And they're currently trying to teach other coroners how to do this to help families in the future. And the other thing that she did was take out Karen's heart and send it to another medical facility where they could examine the heart. And 2 weeks later, the answer came back that they said that Karen died of dilated cardiomyopathy. And they called it idiopathic because there was no reason that they knew of it. But we knew this was a shock for our family because my sister, Karen's mother, had been diagnosed in her late 50s, mid-50s, maybe 10 years before this, with idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy. And her doctors said she got it from a virus, some long-term effects of a virus. Well, we now know that 50% of people who have cardiomyopathy have a mutation that caused it. But we didn't know that then. And as a matter of fact, unfortunately, a lot of doctors still don't know that. So that's one of the things we have to teach them.